Allestree Hall is a witness to the passage of time. It has changed hands numerous times. Its history is entwined with the monks of Darley Abbey and the Touchets of Markeaton, with the hall gaining significance as a seat only in the 16th century. Yet, by this date of the will of Edward Mundy of Markeaton, who died in 1607, we find his third son, John, being left the new house in Allestree. Originally, the hall would have been made from probably timber framed upon a parcel of land known as the Parcell at Kinder Farm. We look at the history of this wonderful bit of history in Allestree in Derbyshire. Come for the journey with me. This parcel of land stood adjacent to Mulberries farm and was completed in 1596. It continued as a seat of the younger branches of the Mundys, and in 1713 Woolley recorded that Edward Mundy had a good house there, in which tax was being paid at 8 hearths in 1670. In 1795, F.N.C.Mundy of Markeaton sold around 130 acres of land in Allestree to Mr. Thornhill of Stanton-in-Peak, who wanted a suburban villa within a reach of Derby. Following the acquisition, James Wyatt was commissioned to design a gentleman's villa, a plan that had survived to this day. The meticulous execution of his plan, as confirmed by the journal of William Holbech of Farnborough, Warwickshire, is a testament to the grandeur of the hall's architectural history. Yet the house still needs to be completed according to his design. These plans could conceivably reflect a modification by William Lindley of Doncaster, who in 1799 added a range of just this size to Stanton for Thornhill. Yet the interior was probably never finished, although a stone near the entrance with J.W. 1802 cut into it probably marks Wyatt's completion of the exterior, pointing to yet another revision of the interior plan. The new hall was built in fine grain buff Cooper sandstone, ashlar throughout, but it looks like poor quality sandstone, probably quarried in Allestree. The main entrance has this mullion with half columns and cold stone capitals. After standing empty for 3 years, Thornhill sold it to John Charles Gerardet, who appears to have finished the interior and lived there with his family for 20 years before moving to Colston Hall in Nottinghamshire and selling it to William Evans of the Darley Abbey Mills family. Gerardet added the porch, supported on square Tuscan columns, and enlarged the park to 300 acres and the estate to 6,799 acres, not all which lay contiguous to Allestree. These changes significantly altered the property's appearance and size, reflecting the influence of different owners over the past. The pleasure grounds were reordered by William Barron and Son in 1917. They made significant changes to the layout and design of the grounds, enhancing the property's aesthetic appeal. These changes were subsequently incorporated by Derby City Council, marking a shift in the property's management and use. On the death of Sir Thomas William Evans in 1892, the whole was inherited by William Gisborne of Lincoln Hall. His son Lionel let it in 1902 to the London banker H. Raffel, who sat for a local constituency in Parliament. After the collapse of Sir Herbert's Parliament aspirations in 1914, this caused the Gisbornes to sell to Colonel H.A. Johnson, whose family was a wire manufacturer at Ambergate. I found the original pamphlet advertising the lot of Allestree Hall in 1916. As you can see throughout, it has some very interesting artifacts and artwork recorded in the house, which gives us some insight to how the look and the feel of a house has evolved over time. So enjoy. Colonel H.A. Johnson died in a lightning strike in a park in 1923, and when his American widow died in 1928, the contents again were sold, and the house, with about 400 acres, was sold to the commercial construction company, a director of which was Derby's architect T.H. Forbes. They demolished a Wyatt lodge in the village and built a house on parts of the park, but this work was interrupted by the outbreak of war. From 1942, the house was occupied by the Sherwood Foresters Regiment and then the National Fire Service. This caused the suspension of golf, one of the park's developments, in 1928, as the club had occupied the house. In 1946, the house and 323 acres was sold to Derby Borough Council for £23,000, although it was not handed over by the NFS until 2 years later. The deal was finalised in March 1950. By 1948, the hall had transitioned from a private residence to a public park, with the golf club resuming its activities. This transformation reflects the hall's journey from a private estate to a shared community space. The council demolished the west wing, part of the service accommodation, in 1949, and the conservatory had gone a year earlier, but a new one was built in 1989. Despite 2 resolutions put to the council for demolishing the house in 1970s, a scheme to make it a natural history museum prompted a programme of long overdue repairs. However, the museum scheme paid scant respect to the high quality interiors, and after its abandonment in 1988, its sale in 1990 on a 150-year lease to a developer for conversion into luxury flats and a public restaurant gave greater hope than at any time since 1923 that the building would be properly cared for. Now the hall is dormant, waiting for a new buyer to turn it into a wedding venue.